Today, I had one of those magical services that every small congregation dreams about. Our sanctuary was full. We had over five times our normal attendance, and there were children everywhere. The room was alive. It was absolutely beautiful. It was one of those days that reminds you why you do this work. And then something really interesting happened. As I was locking up the building, someone asked me, Madison, do you think your rebuilding efforts are finally starting to work? I thought about it for a moment, and I could see in their face that my answer surprised them. No, I said. Today wasn't a turning point. It wasn't proof that we'd solved our attendance problems. Today was a gift. We celebrated a double B'nai Mitzvah. Most of the people who filled the sanctuary were guests, and many weren't Jewish. We loved guests, so doesn't matter. But the family we've loved and celebrated with has now graduated all their children from our Hebrew school, and they will be moving away. In fact, over the next year, we'll probably gain two small families, and this family that we're losing, and one other one was a large family that we will be losing. They will be moving for work. And that's simply the reality of a small congregation. One of the mistakes that small congregations can make, and I purposely did not make myself, is to confuse this event with a trend. I really wanted it to be a trend. It would have been beautiful if it was a trend. It reminded me of how things were 7 years ago. A packed sanctuary feels like momentum. It feels like you finally turned the corner. And sometimes you have, but today and most of the time, you've simply experienced a beautiful day. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think we make another mistake when we minimize those moments because they aren't permanent. A B'nai Mitzvah, a wedding, a packed high holy holiday service, a community concert. These aren't failures because they don't repeat every week. They're gifts. They're reminders of who we are when we gather together. And they're opportunities to welcome guests, celebrate milestones, and experience the joy of a Jewish community. So, my thought was that I would like to try to make sure that we have more opportunity to celebrate together and have guests gather and have the joy spread through our congregation. It was amazing to see the smiles on people's faces. At the very end, we very rarely ever sing Shabbat Shalom at the very end of our services, and we had a rousing chorus of Shabbat Shalom, so rousing that we almost forgot to say the blessing over the grape juice and the wine, or the grape juice and the challah. So it was a wonderful day. So when your congregation has one of those extraordinary days, celebrate it. Let it refresh you like I did me, why I'm still not upset by the questions that were posed. Let it remind you why your work matters. Let it give your volunteers new energy. But don't build a strategic plan around it. In fact, later on this evening, my boss emailed me and said, did the moving me to a different building, was that the reason that we had such a great service today? No, it wasn't. I appreciate it. It makes me able to build community better, but there was no strategic plan around this. Healthy congregations don't grow overnight. Moving to a different building or changing one thing usually doesn't make anything happen immediately. they grow relationship by relationship, family by family. That's why I'm hopeful by the 2 new families that are coming, and conversation by conversation. The miracle isn't one full sanctuary. The miracle is a community that faithfully gathers week after week, even when the sanctuary isn't full. So today was a gift. Tomorrow we'll get back to the quiet work of building relationships, the quiet work of reminding people that we need a minion, the quiet work of our Friday Shabbats and our online presence. And that's how healthy congregations grow. They grow slowly and faithfully and one person at a time. So I'm Madison. And whether your sanctuary was full today or your regular Shabbat minyan is small, you're still doing big Torah.